products and quotients of complex numbers that are in trig form. And to save some time, I already wrote the formula down here. If we are multiplying two complex numbers, C1 and Z2, then the formula is we're multiplying our modulo, R1 times R2, and then we get cosine the angle theta 1 plus theta 2 times plus I sine theta 1 and theta 2. And really it is derived, think back to the rules for exponents. When you multiply with the same base, what are you doing to the exponents? You're adding them, and that's kind of the concept behind why you're adding the two angles. Now over here, I have the formula for division, for finding the quotient of two complex numbers. And again, think back to the rules for exponents. When you're dividing with the same base, what do you do to the exponents? You're subtracting, and that's kind of the concept behind why the angles here are subtracted as well. So here are my two complex numbers in trig form. Now I'm going to apply the formula and multiply both of them. C1 times Z2 would be 2 times cosine pi over 4 plus I sine pi over 4 times 6 cosine pi over 12 plus I sine pi over 12. I'm going to try to write a little faster. So what I can do is R1 times R2, which in this case 2 times 6 is 12. And now I'm going to have the angles that I need to add. Pi over 4 plus pi over 12 plus I sine pi over 4 plus pi over 12. Now a little sidebar over here. Pi over 4 plus pi over 12. Of course, I have to have the same denominator. The least common denominator in this case is what? 12. We're multiplying numerator and denominator by 3, which leaves me with 3 pi over 12 plus 1 pi over 12. 3 plus 1, of course, is 4 pi over 12, and that can be reduced to what? Pi over 3. Here we go. So my product of my two complex numbers is 12 times cosine pi over 3 plus I sine pi over 3. And if you leave it in trig form, you are done right here. Let's take a look at the quotient, the division problem we have. I'm applying the formula, so that would be Z1 over Z2 is 3 cosine 50 plus I have it right here. I don't actually need to rewrite it again. I can apply the formula right away. So here we are. 3 divided by 9 is 1/3. 1/3 cosine 50, which is my first angle, minus 20. In this case, 50 minus 20 is 30 degrees plus I sine of 30 degrees. Now, if you want to leave it in trig form, you can do that. Sometimes the book requires actually to convert it back into complex number form. So we have to evaluate the cosine of 30 and the sine of 30. What better way to look at a triangle? 60, 30, 90, 1, 2, square root of 3. The cosine of 30 adjacent over the hypotenuse is the square root of 3 over 2. The sign of 30 is 1/2, and all of it needs to be multiplied by 1/3. So the complex number in this case is the square root of 3/6 plus I over 6 or 1/6. So let's just say I over 6. 1/3 times 1/2 is 1/6, and that is our complex number. That's how you multiply and divide complex numbers.